Welcome to Alberta Conservation Association's Harvest Your Own podcast, the resource for everything hunting, navigating through the field, the butcher shop, and the kitchen. Life is all about great food. Let's get started.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Brad Fenson, an avid outdoor enthusiast who has worked as a freelance journalist, photographer, and public speaker for over 3 decades. I have hunted, fished, and foraged all my life and hope to share my passion for the outdoors. Along the way, I want to encourage everyone to harvest wild proteins and enjoy the satisfaction of providing the next meal for your family. Our goal is to educate, entertain, and inspire individuals to get outdoors and create a connection between food, health, and your future meals. Welcome to Harvest Your Own and another episode of BrAdvice or BrAdvice. You know, since we've taken on the love of fishing is what we'll call it, we're going to talk about keeping it fun. You know, for many of us, angling is a passion, and it's easy to get carried away. If I go out with some hardcore buddies for a long weekend, sleep is highly overrated. We could fish all day, all night, and never think twice about it. But when we're taking out kids, or somebody without a lot of angling experience, or some that don't like angling as much as the rest of us, we have to temper it. And I know that's hard for some to understand or even want to do. You want everyone to love fishing the way you do and dive in with both feet and all the rest of it. But those relationships need to be grown. They don't just happen. So you always have to look at things from someone else's point of view. Yes, you get an opportunity to share your knowledge, understanding, passion, love of the outdoors, and all the rest of it. But it has to be more than just the fish and the fishing. Let them do it their way. Let them see things through their own eyes. Yes, you want to give them instruction and teach them how to do things, but being able to do it on their own is really important. And you can start with the basics. When you get out to the lake, don't put everything together and hand it to them. Get out your rod, give them one, show them how to string it, how to open up the bail on the reel, how to run the line through the eyelets, how to tie a proper knot for a leader or a swivel, and teach as you go. Because now it's interactive and they're going to enjoy it a lot more. Know the species that you're after. Give them a little bit of information about how they act and what they do. Walleye, for instance, have taste receptors on their lips. They don't have to bite your bait in order to taste it. They can bump it and know if they want it or not. And sometimes we feel those subtle, we call them bites, but often it's inhaled water with a bait. And it's so subtle that all you feel is a little bit of tension on your line. And you explain that to somebody, it makes a big difference. Lift your rod tip a little bit and feel for tension. Oh, all of a sudden they realize what it is. You set the hook. They can now catch walleye and perch and other fish that act that way. Of course, you know, different lures, different fish. Pike, I have 2 girls at home. One loves pike, one loves walleye. And they both prefer to fish the species they prefer. So it does make it a bit of a challenge, but quite often we're running a bottom bouncer out one side of the boat and a spoon or a crankbait out the other, or even tossing some to the side of the boat and reeling in so they can practice their casting as well. You know, that's a very big part of being interactive with fishing is learning how to cast. As a kid, I spent hours down at the dock at the lake casting and catching fish. Didn't catch a lot, but I got to cast and I was really enthused about learning that and doing it. When my girls were 18 months old, I had ice fishing rods with rubber stoppers tied to the end of the line, and we were in the driveway, and they would cast for hours, learning how to use the different reels, when to release with their thumb to let the line go freely. And today, you know, even when they were 5, 6, 7 years old, they could cast a rod and reel quite handily. And at 8 years old, they can handle it like most adults. And that's because they were given the opportunity. Not only did they watched dad and mom do it, they got to do it on their own. And that's the big difference. You know, I remember going to the coast and going fishing with a couple outfitters that would push you out of the way to grab the rod and set the hook on a salmon. Well, I didn't go out there just to reel fish in. I wanted to catch them on my own. And to be quite frank, when I let them or forced them to reel in the fish after they set the hook, they let me do it the next time. Think of your kids and the learners, the people wanting to learn how to fish, do things the same way because it makes a big difference. So when you're fishing, make sure the others have a rod and they have it in their hand for as much time as they want. If they want to take a break, no big deal. I know sometimes it drives us crazy and you think that's when the fish are going to bite. You're going to give them the talk about you can't catch fish unless your hook is in the water. and all these other things, but it's important to let them do it their own way. So I know with my girls, sometimes we have to stop. When I'd like to be fishing, we anchor the boat up and we go for a swim because it breaks up the day. It's something that's important to them. It's something they love to do. And I'm still out on the water. And I know that I'm going to get some more fishing time if I give them a break. Snacks, food, entertainment. Oh, very important. If you run out of food, nobody wants to be out there. So make sure you always pack a good lunch and lots of drinks. You want to stay hydrated because being in the sun can dry you out big time. So those things are just as important. The one thing I refuse to bring fishing is electronics. I mean, there's pelicans, there's loons, there's grebes, there's fish, there's different, so many different things to explore and see if you just use your eyes, that we don't need electronics to entertain people and keep them in the boat with you fishing. Make sure they engage themselves in the outdoors. And that's probably the number one thing that I can tell people. The other is when you are fishing, let them go through the tackle box and pick their own lure. Sometimes it'll drive you crazy and you'll be thinking in your head, oh my word, I can't believe they're picking that. They're never going to catch anything. But guess what? I had a young fellow in my boat that picked a lure I had never thrown in the water. And on a trip up to northern Alberta Lake, he caught the biggest walleye of the trip, over 10 pounds. And, let's just say I learned a few things that day too. So don't be afraid to let people pick it for the right reasons. Have a look at the lure and tell them why it will work. Oh, that's a good color for this lake. Oh, that's a very good weight. You'll feel the bottom, but you'll also feel the bait. Or if it's a spoon, oh, that's a good heavy spoon. It's going to give off vibration and flash, things that the fish feel and can hone in on your lure that way. Education comes with talking freely about what's going on and teaching who's ever in the boat to enjoy things the way you do. And that's understanding things a lot more. So my girls always pick their own lures. And, like I said, one likes pike, one likes walleye. It often means different approaches. Sometimes they do the same if one starts catching more fish than the other, but that's part of the challenge. And I think that being a little bit competitive helps keep them in the boat longer. The other thing we do is learn all the important other things in regards to boat control and maintenance. At a young age, they learned how to steer a boat. They'd sit on Dad's knee or beside me on the back bench. And steering a boat seems easy when you're watching, but when you do it, everything's in reverse. You push the motor right and the boat goes left. So it's a real learning curve, but it's interesting. And when you see them light up, like, wow, I actually got to do this, you'll understand why they want to go again the next time. If you do everything that's fun, they're not going to want to do it. So make sure you engage them. Now, you got to have a rod for everyone that you have out there. Otherwise, it's not good. Now, sometimes if you're trolling, it means that you might miss a turn and they get more turns. But that's the way it is if you want to develop and create fishing partners and buddies for the future. I brought in one of my experts. I have Adeline Fenson here today, my 8-year-old, one of my twins, and she loves fishing, and she happens to be our pike fanatic. Addie, what's your favorite fish to catch?
Pike.
Pike. Why is that? Do you know why you like fishing pike?
No.
No, just because. Not because they fight harder or sometimes they'll take bigger baits. It's just because you like pike. Yeah. Yeah, I know that when it comes to eating fish too, you're always like, is that a pike? I want to have pike for dinner. So it's good to have a favorite, isn't it? Do you have a favorite lure for fishing pike?
Yes.
What is it?
It's a tiger one.
Oh, yeah, a spoon, the fire tiger.
Yeah.
Yes, the Len Thompson or the 5 of diamonds too?
The Lem Thompson and the 5 of diamonds.
Yes, when we did that fly-in trip up north, you caught a lot of fish on that spoon, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, being able to pick your own, is that important or is it better that Dad picks it for you?
It's important.
Why is it?
Because then you get to learn what you catch on your hook.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing that happened when we were out pike fishing?
I caught a pike.
Yeah.
And then it took my line and hook, and then my dad hooked the same fish, and then I got my hook back.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. That fish was pretty aggressive. He hit your jig real hard, pulled out line, broke it off, and 2 minutes later I caught it and got your hook back. You were pretty excited to see your hook come back, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you get to net the fish and handle them as well, or does Dad do everything?
I have handled it before.
Of course, you want to release them. When you release, you always have to be part of it, don't you? But you and your sister like to take turns on the net, right?
Yeah.
When somebody catches a fish, most of the time it's like a fire drill in the boat because everyone's trying to reel in to get the net because they want to net the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of the fun. So again, engaging people, letting them do the activities that are out there. And of course, you guys always help put the boat in and out, right? We do it safely. You get your life jackets on. You got to make sure your whistle's attached and all the things that we need for legally going out in a boat. But you know those things at an early age, and you're often my checklist. You're like, hey, Dad, where's this? Where's that? So it's always good to do it, and it's always great to have help to pull things in afterwards. Now, you probably would never touch a fish or help clean them and stuff like that, would you?
I would.
Oh, really? Now that's interesting. Engaging your new fishing partners and teaching them how to fillet fish. That's pretty interesting. I know my dad did that with me at an early age, and that meant that I cleaned all the fish from then on. But we do share the duties, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, important notes for other people that are taking kids and new anglers out. Make sure they get to do their own thing. Pick their own lures, run their own rod, put it down when they want to break, net some fish. Take time to watch the birds. If they want to reel in and have lunch, that's fine too. Remember, look at fishing through their eyes, because if you try to give them a marathon of 16 hours without a break and like you're a drill sergeant, chances are they're not going to want to go again. So your BrAdvice is look at things from everyone else's view, not yours. Share your knowledge, share your passion, and enjoy some time on the water. We hope to inspire people to reconnect with nature and appreciate where your food comes from by harvesting your own. For more information on getting started or to learn specifics about the Field to Fork experience, visit harvestyourown.ca and follow on Facebook and Instagram. Check back often for new material, recipes, and videos that are posted regularly. Please subscribe to Harvest Your Own podcast and take the time to rate and review the show to help us build a dedicated core of passionate hunters as our regular audience. Until next time, embrace the outdoors and all it has to offer. Thanks for joining us.